Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Cyberstolf, and welcome back to some more LEGO arts. It's been a while since we have been at this series, but I have been busy getting these figures done, and also working on some Let's Plays. But anywho, in the previous video that we've done, we went over the Nightmare Before Christmas showcase, so now this time, I'm finally getting around to doing Wave 5 of Bendy and the Ink Machine, and what should be the last wave. But for this showcase, here, I have Beast Bendy. I finally got that done, and as you can see, I've got all the Nightmare Run bosses done. This time we have Chester Chess, Gasset, I think is how you pronounce his name, Canoodle, and Dewey, all of which are from Nightmare Run. And also in the center is a custom minifigure that I made on my own, and that's Bendy in the style of Kingdom Hearts. If you guys don't know where this one is from, this is actually from my DeviantArt page, which you can check it out. And he's also holding a Keyblade. So the environment we're in, this is supposed to be a throne room. It's the same set that I used in my Bendy origin film. If you guys want to check that out, I really encourage you guys. And there's also like the secret weapons and the secret items here, but we'll get to all of that in a jiffy. So, as you guys know the whole drill, we're going to take these minifigures one at a time, do a review, explain my process, why I went with this route, and go from there. So, let's begin! Alright, so to start this video off is the custom minifigure KH Bendy. This one was a last-minute one that I finally decided to do. I decided to do this one as sort of like a way to do a Freedom Fighter Bendy, because I noticed that there was like a second Boris, multiple Borises, and a second Alice Angel, like a good one, but we didn't see a good Bendy, and that's because in the game, they never made another Bendy. There's only one Bendy in me. So with this one, I kind of wanted to figure it out, like, how would I make a good Bendy? And I finally decided to settle down and put him in the style of Kingdom Hearts, because, as you guys probably know by now, I am a fan of Kingdom Hearts, and I wanted to do in the format of Bendy. So, with this minifigure, hang on, we'll get to the Keyblade in a jiffy. I'll remove this here. So when looking at this minifigure itself, like all the other Bendy minifigures, completely hand-painted. His outfit, I tried to get it like what I thought what Bendy would look like in the outfit. So like there's supposed to be like some chains on his pants, a little chain over here. These sort of like represent like the organization coat, but slightly different. There's buttons on the sleeve as well, and on the back, I made like I saw that some other people did this too, for where like they made like these strips of fabric, sort of like tails for him. I decided to go ahead with that, but since I have not yet mastered in fabrics, hopefully I will in the future, I settled down for molding clay, and this sort of work, but I can't really put them on like a normal Lego, on like a Lego platform. I have to like put it on a base, but that's okay. The tie. Of course, he's got his tie. It's definitely a little bit different. I think my favorite thing about this minifigure is the headpiece. The head is definitely different. Like, if you compare it to... Hang on. Maneuver my hands. Here we go. If you compare it to, like, my other Bendy... this is, like, the first one I ever made. Yeah, you can definitely see, like, the heads have changed. And I'm really proud of this head. This is a very nice one. Very nice one. Like, I like this... I love this minifigure. I still do. But this one is definitely, like... It really shows how much I've really practiced on this character, and I really made it well done. I decided to have the eyes go like in the opposite directions, sort of like in the plushies that we saw in the game, mainly because I wanted this Bendy to be a little bit different from the other ones I've built. And that's the minifigure here. So let's take a look at the Keyblade. This is definitely something that I made. If you guys remember from all of my Kingdom Hearts Let's Plays, I always said that each of the each of the Keyblades, I did it for, like, I printed it out, glued it on cardboard, cut those out, glued sword handles inside, and then went from there. But this one, I decided to try and sculpt it out of clay. I measured it, like, the length, it's supposed to be the length of a sword, like a normal samurai sword. I cut off, like, a bit of the katana, and then, like, I cut off the blade of the katana, then... And, like, the little stub that was in there, I built up the rest of the blade and then put it in here and glued it up. This is supposed to be, like, a mixture of some of the stuff for Bendy. Like, as you can see, the starting part of the blade is, like, an audio cassette tape. The middle part here is gent. This is supposed to be, like, a broken gear. It didn't fully come out right. And on the top is a halo. And this little keychain, this is supposed to, like, represent, like, the reel it's on. Which is just some string glued to, like, one of these others, other stud pieces that I used. And I can't remember if the handle, if I was originally supposed to attempt for, was like a real, I think it was, but it didn't come out right. Right. So this Keyblade didn't go exactly according to plan. Because this is like the first time I ever made a Keyblade out of molding clay. But I'm pretty proud of this Keyblade. The downside with the like the Bendy minifigure is that like it doesn't fully like sorry, how do I explain this? Okay, it doesn't fully like rotate all the way I want it to do. And because this thing is huge, I have to have Bendy on the base, otherwise, as the weight of the Keyblade will make him topple over. Luckily, though, with the base, it allows him to stay standing and keep on going. So that's pretty much the custom Bendy that I'll do. And I'm planning to do like more minifigures like this in the future. Well, just make it for the fun of it, because that's what this channel is all about. We're all about having fun. So let's move on now to the Nightmare Run bosses. So next up on our list is Chester from Nightmare Run, the first Nightmare Run boss we encounter into the game. And again, this was pretty much the Nightmare Run bosses were weird to make. They reminded me a lot of when I made the Butcher Gang, because I didn't make them normal minifigures, and these ones are definitely not normal. And admittedly, I kept jumping back and forth of how to proceed through Nightmare Run. Alright, I thought like, ooh, should I make them minifigure size, or should I try to make them like giants? But I decided to go with minifigure size, because with giants, again, like some parts, I either A, don't have enough parts, or B, don't have the right ones, in the sense of how I would be able to proceed through this. But anyways, for Chester, he was the first one to get done. And it was pretty easy to make. So what I did was, like, I took some strips of clay, like, rolled it all up, and then made like his tentacles. I only did that with like on the front and back. They're not exactly even, but I think that's okay, because all the tentacles weren't exactly the same as they were in the game. The face, I was a little bit curious of how to proceed through this. Like the eyes were pretty easy. The mouth, though, I was debating whether or not to have like the mouth like painted on, or I can't even open this up. Anymore. Or how before, like, I could open him up and then have, like, his teeth, like, where he, like, shoots out his coins and everything. But I finally just decided to go with like, the painting on, like, the front of the mouth on. This was a pretty weird minifigure. And I think pretty much the easiest out of all the Nightmare Run bosses to make. And I'll explain, like, as I proceed through here, but I coated all of this in, like, a black acrylic. Like, I used, like, a brand new one that I got, and that my sister got. And I think it's because, since it's fresher, it's a lot easier to apply on. Like, all I really had to do was apply, like, 1 or 2 coats, whereas, with the first brand that I had, I had to put on, like, multiple layers, multiple coats of black paint, and like, wait for all of it to dry. With this one, I just had to apply on, like, 1 or 2, and it came out pretty good. The eyes, unfortunately, are a little bit too small, like the pupils, the Pac-Man eyes. So they didn't come out right, but in general, when looking at this minifigure, I'd say it's decent. Whoops, sorry. Yeah, sorry, Chester. Okay, so let's move on to our next boss. Next up on our list is Gasset. I still don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correct. Incorrect. This one is the first ever car minifigure I've ever built, and it was a little bit interesting of how to proceed through this one. So, months ago, I can't remember if this was Christmas or Easter or my birthday, but my grandma, gave me a gift for, like, it was a Lego mug, and also it had, like, a little Lego car. So I kept the car in storage, which it was a little race car, and then finally I decided to, like, use that car as sort of, like, a base of how to build Gasset. So I first built up, like, the taxi parts, then I made sure that once that was dry, I then, like, glued on the eyes. I tried to make them, like, as close to each other as I could, because that's always been another problem with me, of, like, making sure they're aligned, and then, like, I drew out the mouth, then I just built up the rims, and the rims, I think is what it was called, and it's called, pretty much, just build it around of, like, where the wheels are, and they can kind of move, but at the same time, I need like a little bit of pressure. Like so far, one wheel is easy, can easily like move without ease. The other ones, they're a little bit slow, So, what I might do is that I might go back a little bit, and try to like sand it out, the inside, so that way the rest of this can be drivable. But this is the first ever like little minifigure car I've ever built, and of course it's got like the little taxi up front. I definitely double checked to like make sure I got like the colors correct, cause I saw out of all the Nightmare Run bosses, this one is like he's more white, where the other ones are more in darker colors. So it's a little bit interesting of like why they're not the same, but that's okay. Okay, because honestly, all the other Bendy characters, they're a bit darker. Their colors are darker than usual, so it's kind of nice to have like the lighter one every now and then. And yeah, this is a pretty, and not really a whole lot else to go on with this car. I don't know if I'll do other cars like this in the future. Probably not. But if I do, I might try the same technique. And it did seem like a pretty easy task to do. So pretty much just air dry clay, acrylic paints, Sharpie, and some of these like special smooth stud pieces. Just glue them on, and then you get like a killer taxi. All right, let's move on to another boss. Next up is Soup Can Canoodle, and this one and Dewey were the hardest out of the Nightmare Runs to build because I didn't build them exactly as I would do with a minifigure. Just sort of like, this was sort of experimentation for what I did to like make sure that I still have like minifigure body parts for future customs. What I did was I took some legs who had like no owners whatsoever. I used the same technique that I did with my Boris of like for height wise. I then like rolled up some clay, then glue those on the legs, and then I took like some of these ball joint pieces. It's just that that they've used in like the mixels. I then stuck those into the sides of the can and super glued those in, but made it for where like I can still bend the arms. So the arms and the hands, they were pretty hard because I had to glue them a couple of times to make sure like they stayed in place. Of course, like he's got like the top of the can, it opens up. And I guess inside is supposed to be like expired soup. This is the reason why. Don't leave. Be like Spike Spiegel from Bebop. Don't leave things in the fridge. And he's also got like his little angry face, So I can sort of bend his legs, but at the same time, not really. But that's kind of okay, because this Nightmare Run boss is more supposed to be a stature kind of figure. But it definitely was a little bit odd to make. So part of this minifigure was supposed to be like an experimentation, like if I could replicate this for like some future stuff. It sort of works, but I don't think I'll be trying this method again unless like absolutely necessary. So, in general, this is supposed to be like a experiment for a boss minifigure. And it's okay. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just okay. So, how about we move on to our final boss minifigure and then get to the big boy. Next up on our list is Dewey from the library mission in Nightmare Run, and the last of the Nightmare Run bosses. I admit, out of all of these guys, this guy's face came out correct. Like, this came out correct. It was very small of how to do this one. So when doing this minifigure, again, like Canoodle, he was a little bit tricky to make, because I didn't make him like I would with a normal minifigure. And so when making this one, his face came out pretty well. And well, like, I drew on the teeth, and then I took like a small Sharpie, drew the eyes, the teeth, and everything. So this came out pretty well. Of course, he's got like his feather. This is supposed to be like an ink pen. And this is supposed to be the lid. I almost thought about like making the head more big, but I decided to just use a minifigure head that I was not using. On the sides, he's got written ink, because he's basically a giant jar of ink with arms and legs. And the arms, these arms were a pain. They kept like breaking off. I couldn't tell if they were too long. So the hands wouldn't stay on. And these wouldn't exactly, like, stay in place. So, this one was definitely a pain to get right. Yeah, right. And then when I finally got it right, it's just like, finally, I am done with you. I'm with you. And I don't really think I'm going to be trying to make, like, the weapons for each of these guys. Because most of the weapons, they don't really use that much. They only, like, fire it out. And plus, I am not fully sure how I would make a ink minigun or an ink Tommy gun, whatever kind of gun it is. And it is so at the time I was just focusing more on building the figure, and then I would figure out the rest later. But like Sukan, the legs, thanks for height difference, glued inside. He's also got like the ball joints to like so he can move his arms and everything. So, these guys would earn, I think, second place for weird minifigures I would make so far. Alright, the first place still goes to, the Butcher Gang monster forms, cause, as these guys, I had a pretty simple plan and a simple results. So, in general, this was pretty odd to make. Hey, but speaking of odd, let's move on now to our, I wouldn't even call it a minifigure, I'd call it more of a monster. Alright, last up for the figures on the list is Beast Bendy. We should just rename this guy to Venom Benny or Alien Bendy, because people have been comparing Bendy to Venom and aliens from Alien, which actually makes sense, because when looking at this thing, it's like, oh lord. So, the basis of this figure here, I didn't make this the same way I did with the Devil, Final Boss Shion, and even Savitar. I built this one, like, based off of, so, most of my Bionicle parts I'm running, like, kind of low on, or they're already on figures that I want to keep. So what I did was, I found, like, a pair of legs that, weren't being used for anything at all, and I removed, like, some of the extra stuff of the legs, but kept the, like, basic structure of the legs. So then I molded the body, I molded the torso around the body, and as you can see, like, baby Stegosaurus spine, and here, short little legs. I made it for where, like, the head, I can bend it back a little bit. The head is, like, the basic structure of the head is supposed to be, like, on the inside. It's a Hero Factory head. I don't know if that's still going on. But I built it but I used that as, like, a backup, so that way I could use it for where, I can bend the head, and he could still, like, put it in different expressions, like, maybe be like a cat, like, look down, like, up front, get, lower it down so you can, like, see his horns. The horns didn't come out even, but that's, like, most of some of the stuff I made. He's got, like, of course, like, his pointy shark teeth. What I think I should have done painting-wise is that, like, I should have, like, waited to put on the teeth after I painted this, because I glued on the teeth after the whole thing dried, and then when applying on paint, when I got to the teeth, I realized, like, oh, oops. Luckily, though, I managed to have some brushes to, like, paint inside the mouth, and then I painted on the teeth. Yeah, but sure, not so much better. The arms didn't fully come out right, and my original plan was that I wanted to find a way of how, like, I could make it for where, like, he could have his arms be like gorilla hands and sort of, like, help them support his weight, and then he would, like, charge and everything. Unfortunately, though, the way how the structure is, he can't support himself without him falling over. So sadly, that isn't such a thing. So I wound up having to like really think outside the box. And I decided to, like, I'll just glue it onto a base and be done with it. So this didn't go exactly how I wanted it, but that's okay, because this channel is all about, like, because when it comes to making customs, it's all about trial and error, figuring out, like, what should I do, what I can do for the next time. So hopefully, like, the next big figure I make, it won't be as complicated, and it will go according to plan. Then again, nothing really does. But anyways, let's move on to the background and begin to wrap the video up. So, the environment that I used for this one, as you can see, it's not the usual environment that I used for the previous Bendy videos, but this one is the environment that I used in the LEGO Arts Minifilms Episode 2, Bendy's Origin. And it's basically my attempt at the inside of the throne room. So, as you can see, like, he's got the chair over here, which I took, like, some old clay that I really had lying around. It was some red one, and some red clay, and then, like, I sculpted the chair out. I made it for where, like, Ink Bendy could, like, sit inside and everything. And, of course, like, the monitors up here, I didn't, like, glue all the monitors on, because that would have, because I need a lot more cardboard for that. But the reason why they're blank is because, for the video, I wanted to put on the cartoons, so with, like, some Photoshop magic, I had them all, like, blank, and then I put on the cartoons. So, it was, like, my little attempt Sometimes, like, really showing the cartoons, like, in the game. And sharing with some of the tools, like, as you can see here, this one is the seeing tool. This one was definitely a little bit unique to build. So what I did was, I took, like an old earpod case that I had lying around. I cut off a square of it, and then put on clay on the edges of it, then glued the rod on, and measurement-wise, it didn't come out fully, because I wanted to be very accurate as I possibly could get, but I had to settle down for, like, putting on two lights on each side. I couldn't put on all three, all six, but I guess that's okay. And with this thing, we can still, like, wander around the studio and see if we can still locate the secret hidden messages that are possibly stuck in an infinite loop. And also, like, some of these wires. These are the same ones that I use for the projectionist, and oh lord, I hate these things. I hate these, because I cannot tell you how many times I had to, like, hold it down until the glue dried, just for it to stay in one place. It was a nightmare. These things are nightmares, and I'll probably work with them again, but for now, I don't want to work with materials like that again. And also, here for our weapon is a scythe. This is actually a secret weapon. So for those of you that don't know, in the Bendy game, you can actually unlock this. In Chapter 5, there's this secret weapon for where, like, you have to get Bendy to kill, like, the Butcher Gang when, like, putting in the pipes and everything, and then after draining the ink, you gotta go back through the maze, and when you go into this room where a wall is, inside is a scythe. Right, you pick up the scythe, and then, like, you fight searchers, and then you kill a searcher that's having, like, Sammy's mask, and it triggers, like one of those weird flashes. And it turns out with this thing, it's a secret weapon, but it's also an Easter egg for what Mealy is planning on for their next game. We don't know what the game is, we don't know what it's going to be about. All we know is that it's not Bendy related, and it's going to be something completely different. But this scythe is definitely, like, really cool. So, to proceed through the scythe, it's basically the same one if anybody has, like, Lego Ninjago. It's basically the same how we build the scythes there, for, like, we would put the rod, one of these pieces, and then, like, the blade edge for the scythe base. I then took scissors, cut off bits of the blade to, like, match it close up. I then took, like, some molding clay, made, like a little bit of a piece, one of the little components that's on the scythe, and then, like, I took some string, and then I carefully, like, wrapped it around, and then put it in place, the connecting piece with all the lights and everything. I'm not sure of, like, what the scythe is supposed to be. I think it might be the main weapon for the next game coming out, but all in all, this was pretty interesting to make, and I'm pretty glad I got the chance to make it. And yeah, that's pretty much it in general. So before we end the video off, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of a teaser of the next project that I'm going to be working on. It's not going to be the next episode of LEGO Arts, because this project will take some time, but it will definitely be an episode coming to the series. So, take it away, past, present, or wherever timeline I'm from. Hello? Oh, hey! Oh, so you guys finally decided what you wanted for the pizza for tonight? Really? Okay. Okay, so, we need an extra large cheese pizza, with, pepperoni, black olives, wait, what are you saying? Dude, slow down. I can't understand when you talk so fast. How fast? You're spazzing out. What's going on? Okay, Canadian bacon. Okay. Hey, dude, calm down. I can't understand you when you spaz out there. There. Slow down. No pineapple. Alright, no pineapple. Okay, that's pretty obvious one. And green peppers? Okay, that seems like a pretty good pizza. Is there anything else you need? Alright, I'll remember the breadsticks. You don't need to scream that. Jeez, dude, calm down. Alright, okay, I'll be back in a jiff. What weird people. At least they didn't have to deal with that creepy guy wearing purple. And that does it for this episode of LEGO Arts. Unfortunately, this may very well be the last episode of the LEGO Bendy Waves. And it's mainly because there's no one else left to build. I've covered all the figures. I've covered all the cartoon versions, all the monster versions. There's no one else left to build. Even the minor ones, like the Searchers and the Lost ones. Mealy did say, though, that he's not going to be ending the Bendy series, that they're going to be coming up with more stuff for Bendy in the future. But unless they magically release a brand new character out, there's no one really else left to build. Oh, but don't worry, you guys. Right, guys, that doesn't mean I'll stop making crazy projects such as this one. Because Bendy, it really tested out my abilities as a customizer. Because this is, like, some of the first minifigures I've, like, completely hand-painted, used no decals, and also build it out with molding clay. There's going to be more projects like that in the future. Like the teaser I'm in, and like the teaser I just showed, it's definitely going to have a lot of clay. If you guys know the answer for what it is, feel free to comment below on what your thoughts it might be. And for the video, it won't be the next episode, but I guarantee it will be coming out. If not by the end of this year, it will come out next year. So I'll get ahead and start on that. But if you guys really like this series, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll hit the bell for notifications. It really, really, really is appreciated. And share this out to as many people as you can. Like if you know some people who are fans of Bendy and also like Legos, show them these ones. And if you guys want to check out the rest of like my Bendy Legos or my Bendy any Let's Play videos, you can check it out on the Bendy and Ink Machine playlist on the channel. And yeah, pretty much that over there. So without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that like button, comment below what you think, and share this to your friends. Subscribe to me on YouTube, follow me on Twitch, and here's half of the road. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. What do you guys, Moonrisers?